most developers are going to be very, very angry with me or for this information that I'm about to share with you. Now, today I want to show you an example, a practical example on what happens if you save your money in the bank or if you use it on real estate. Now, we're going to take, for example, that we have two investors. So A is saving his money in the bank and investor B is using it to buy properties, all right? Let's say, for example, both of them have 50 million. And then now investor A puts his 50 million in the bank, and then investor B takes that 50 million and then he secures a property worth of that 50 million with all due diligence. I mean, he has the land certificate for that property. Now, what happens is that investor A, his money remains in the bank. He's going to actually be having an interest, but which is very small, unlike that of investor B, who has already a property that is worth 50 million. All right, let's say it could be 1,000 meters square. And now what happens is that investor B can then take this land certificate, then go to the bank, all right, go to the bank and then request a loan of 50 million, all right. He will request a loan of 50 million using his land certificate, and then the bank will take investor A's 50 million and then give to him, all right, because the loan he's giving, it has a collateral. And what is going to happen is that the bank is giving him that money because it's going to be bringing interest. All right, they can give him maybe up to 5 years or 10 years to pay back that money. Now, investor B, who is a real estate developer or a real estate investor, what he's going to do is he can take that 50 million, look for a prime location, and then buy maybe like 5 hectares. All right, he can buy 5 hectares, maybe in an underdeveloped area. Okay, in an area that's not yet developed, he can buy 5 hectares of land, and with that 5 hectares of land, inside that 50 million, he can maybe spend some money to open up roads in that area, like develop the place in a way that people can start buying plots there to build. All right, so all that he can do that inside that 50 million. And then let's say, for example, a hectare might be giving him about, let's say, 20 plots because he has to open up roads in that estate. All right, he can name the estate whatever name that he wants. So he will open up roads instead of maybe having the maximum number of plots per hectare is going to drop down to 20 because of the road network that he has to provide, which is required by urban planning to open up roads in that estate. Now, when he does that, it's going to drop down to about 20 plots. All right, let's just say 20. It could be 18, but let's say 20, or it could also be 22. So let's say 20 plots. Now, this is 20 now times 5, which is going to be 100 plots. All right, so he's going to have 100 plots of 400 meters square. Now he has processed all documentations of this hectare. And now what is going to happen is that he's going to, as he has opened up road network, he's going to start selling now these properties. All right, since he has a very good network, it's already open for application. People can then start coming to buy single plots or either still buy for land banking because you're still going to be selling at a very affordable price, which means people can still be buying to keep for the future. And what will happen is that you can be selling now a single plot for 2 million, 2.5, 3 million upward. It also depends on the area, but 2 million is the average price to sell a 400 meter square, maybe due to the network or the development he has done in that area. And now, if it is 2 million, this simply means that he has 100 plots, right? And if he's selling one plot for 2 million, that brings him to 200 million profit. If he sells all the hectare, right, he's going to be having 200 million, all right, 200 million for the 5 hectares. Now, inside this 200 million, all right, he has to refund the bank his 50 million plus interest. Let's just say the interest maybe can be 12%, that will be likely about 6%, 6 million. All right, so let's just say, for example, out of the 200 million, he's refunding the bank 60 million. All right, he's refunding the bank 60 million, meaning he's still left with 140 million. All right, now out of this 140 million, he has spent money on bringing caterpillars to open up road networks. He has spent money on marketing to like advertise the estate. He has spent money on documentations and stuff like that. So let's just say roughly this can take him about 20 million. All right, it can take him about 20 million like expenses in this estate, like to open up roads, hire caterpillars and stuff like that, like to make the estate very attractive for investors. All right, so let's say he can spend up to 20 million, and that leaves him out of 140 million, he will still be left with 120 million CFA. Now, this is excluding expenses. He has refunded the bank 60 million instead of 50, and he has paid all expenses 20 million, or we could even say 40 million. All right, he will still be left with 100 million. Now, take note that this 100 million that is left with is he still has his his plot, his property, the land that he had for 50 million is still there. All right. So when he refunds the bank now, he then still have full ownership over his land. So this person has 100 million in cash and he still owns his land of 50 million. And investor A is still having his 50 million in the bank and probably maybe he has have maybe let's just say 1% increase or like let's say 5%. So maybe investor A now is having like 5.5 million in the bank. So this is a difference of you keeping your money in the bank and then investing it in real estate. All right. So you will see that investor B has taken your money in the bank, put it into real estate, develop it, and then he has had a profit of 100 million. Now, this might be within 2 years. This might be within 1 year. It can be 3 years. It depends on how good this investor is when it comes to sales, and also depends how good the location was. So, this is just a quick example, and this is what they actually people pay a lot to learn. And uh, I apologize for so many developers. I think they will really be offended with the message that I'm sharing out for free. And I mean, this is just for educational purposes, all right? It's not actually an investment. It's not an investment advice, all right? So if you want to invest in real estate, it's always important to consult professionals so that they can help you uh, in the process of that, all right? So that is it. Let me know your thoughts on the comment section about this example that I've given. And thank you.